I'm John Glancy, Director of Graduate Admissions here at SBU, and I'm going to be helping us guide us through the program tonight, and we've got a really good one for you. The purpose of the President's Circle Dinner is to honor you, the individual donors who financially support SBU and its students with your generous giving. Through your contributions, you're helping to support critical university priorities, such as student scholarships, academic programs, and strategic initiatives. So on behalf of the university and its students, we thank you from the heart. Now, before we go any further, I want to make some special introductions. What would a President's Circle Dinner be without a president? And we are grateful to have our president here tonight, Dr. Dan Martin. In addition, we're pleased to have Dan's wife, Pam, join us this evening as well. So Dan and Pam, can you wave or stand or whatever? Yeah. We're going to be hearing more from Dr. Martin later in the program. We also have a number of current and past members of the SBU Board of Trustees and the Seattle Pacific Foundation. Thank you all for being here tonight with us as well. Finally, I want to call your attention to a special group of SBU students who are part of our Advancement Corps program. They volunteer in the Advancement Office by helping write thank you letters, setting up events like the one tonight, and generally supporting donor-related activities. These students are seated among your table, so please get to know them as the evening progresses. They're great examples of what SBU students are all about. Now, there's one more item I wanted to explain before we get into dinner. You want to discuss this around your tables. Take a look at the name tag you're wearing. I got mine on right here. You'll notice the dots, but you may not know what they mean, so I'm going to give you the key. The gold dots represent your current membership in the President's Circle for 2013-14. The silver dots indicate members of the Wellspring Society, that is, those who have designated SPU in their wills and estate plans. And finally, there are the bronze dots for those special people who have established endowments with SPU. Now, if you look at your neighbor's badge and you see some dots you'd like to have on your own, we can help with that tonight. We have advancement staff members in the back who would be happy to assist you after the program. Keep that in mind. And now we're about to enjoy our meal together, but before we do that, I'd like to return thanks, so if we'd all bow in prayer, please. Heavenly Father, we gather tonight with thankful hearts. We're thankful for Seattle Pacific University, where students can be changed for life through the Christ-centered education they find here. And we're thankful for all the people in this room who love this place and support it so generously. Finally, we're thankful we can join in a common fellowship. Please bless our time together and this food we're about to eat. In Jesus' name, amen. So now enjoy your meal, and we'll be back with you in a short bit. Thank you. Go ahead and finish your meal and your dessert, but we need, in the essence of time, we need to begin the rest of our program now. And if Annalise and Brandy would make their way up here, that'd be great. I'm going to introduce you now to one of my favorite people here at SBU. It's always good to use this line because you never know when you need a favor. But in this case, I'd be telling the truth. Annalise Soto Fuller is the Assistant Director of Undergraduate Admissions for Freshman Recruitment at SBU. In her position, she oversees all of the undergraduate admissions counselors and the multitude of recruitment and travel activities they undertake to bring in a freshman class. Her special passion is working with underrepresented populations, both ethnically and socioeconomically. Tonight, she's going to be interviewing a recent alum, Brandy Sincere, who Annalise recruited to come to SBU. So please join me in welcoming Annalise and Brandy.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello? Yay!
It works.
Good evening, everyone. So I have the pleasure of interviewing Brandy. And just to give you a little bit more background, I met Brandy when she was a senior in high school. So it's quite the thing to see her all grown up. Just what's really amazing is that I reviewed Brandy's application and read her essay, and immediately after that was like, oh, this girl is incredible, I want her at SPU. And it was my goal to have her here at SPU. She just blew me away, just one of those students that had an incredible essay, an incredible story, and I knew she was going to do great things. So it's really quite a treat to hear her speak today. So I'm going to ask you a few questions, Brandy.
Okay.
So my first question for you is, where are you from and what led you to SPU? Why were you interested in SPU?
Okay. So I'm from Tacoma, Washington. Oh, there's none in here. Okay. I'm from Tacoma, Washington. I graduated from Tacoma School of the Arts, and what first led me to SPU is I went on a visit with a friend, and I sat through the whole slideshow of what the mission is and how this school lives it out, and I was just really impacted, and I remember being like choked up and like, oh my gosh, this school's awesome. So that was my first introduction to SPU.
So can you talk a little bit about some of the challenges that you overcame to be a student at SPU, and what faculty and staff did to support you while you were here?
Yeah, so this is kind of crazy, but when I was applying to SPU, I was actually homeless. I was living between like 3 or 4 different houses or more, and I didn't have internet access, and I didn't have a cell phone, and I didn't have a parental advisor to kind of help me navigate the application process and all of that. So, like Annalisa said, she kind of went way above and beyond what she was supposed to do, and when I got accepted, it was actually a voicemail on my friend's phone that I had to, connect with my friend and ask if I could borrow her phone to try and connect with Annalise, and it was just crazy when she finally got me on the phone. I was actually really, at first, discouraged, but she was like, you can't say no. I'm not going to let you say no. So she didn't let me say no, basically. So once I got to SPU, it was a different story. My financial aid package and just being here and being able to financially afford it, and then having the stability to be on campus with all the resources that comes with that, like a library and a bed and a meal plan. It really led me to success. So, and the staff was awesome. Thank you.
So this is great. Keep it coming, yeah. Can you talk about maybe some of the resources like Early Connections, maybe talk about what Early Connections was and how that helped you navigate your first few weeks in college and the people that you met through that program?
Yeah, so Early Connections is awesome. Does anyone know of it? Give like a little whoop or something. Okay, yeah, okay. So Early Connections is so amazing. It basically, I was so insecure about, coming to college and like being in this new environment. I was so afraid. And first of all, it gives you a confidence booster because you're all of a sudden like, ooh, I'm cool, they're letting me move in early. But other than that, you find commonality with the students that are involved in Early Connections and the staff members, the multi-ethnic programs, and all the folks that are, really empathetic and know your story and want you to succeed. So I kind of got a heads up on being on campus and finding the resources, but then also making friends and really building relationships with staff members, like, multi-ethnic programs and others.
So can you talk about, you majored in political science, not an easy degree. Can you talk about why you chose that major and kind of your future plans and what you've been able to accomplish with that?
Yeah, so political science is fun. Basically, I grew up and I've always been interested in political science, but I felt a disconnect with my family. They really didn't feel like they could participate, they didn't vote, and they just felt like really cynical towards anything they could do to make their community better, our state better, our nation better. So I think just the disconnect and not knowing, like, it made me curious. So that's what originally brought me to it. But then once I was here, I was really like, I made it here, and I want to make other people's lives better, and I want to be able to make it so other kids can get here easier. So that's what led me to political science, and that's kind of the track that I've been on. So.
And what are your future plans? What is your goal now that you're out of college?
Well, since I graduated, I've done a lot. I immediately, within like a week of graduating, I jumped into a really intensive local political fellowship program, and it got me really involved in all things local and political, so that was amazing. And since then, I have been job hunting, but also taking the free time that I have being unemployed to further my work in homeless youth advocacy. So I just got back from Atlanta. It was the 25th annual National Association of Homeless Children and Youth Conference, and there was more than 1,100 people that were there that work with K through 12 education and homelessness, and I got to speak to that audience, which was huge and crazy. But just got back from that, and now I'm back in Tacoma and back in Seattle, connecting with our local community and doing big things in homeless youth advocacy, like potentially getting a bill in our local Washington legislation. So that's what I've been up to. Also looking for a job.
Did you guys get that subtle hint?
Okay. Very subtle.
So my last question for you, are there any last thoughts that you'd like to share? Anything that you'd like to share about the impact SPU had on you and what you'd like to share with these lovely people?
Yeah, SPU really did change my life. I mean, just from you investing in me so much, I think that was just, you were the first person I ever talked to personally at SPU, but that never changed. Like, every staff member has been so, like, as a friend and as a professor, just so amazing. And I couldn't have done that without, you know, scholarships and grants and the people that helped me navigate that system. So SPU is amazing, and thanks to everyone who has ever donated to students who needed it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Annalise and Brandy. Appreciate that story. You can see that our next program segment calls for remarks from President Martin. But before I call him to the podium, I want to give you a brief biographical sketch of him. Most of you know Dr. Martin's educational background, his 2 doctorates in education, a law degree, and an MBA. You know he's held various key positions in Christian higher education, including the presidency of Mount Vernon Nazarene University in Ohio. What you may not know, unless you receive some inside information, are some other things that don't necessarily show up on his curriculum vitae. Why are you laughing? Oh. His high presidential GQ, as opposed to his high presidential IQ, which we just talked about. For example, his casual Friday attire often consists of a snappy sport coat, slacks, and a bow tie, while others, like myself, show up in Dockers and a t-shirt. Not really, but you get the idea. Another thing is his tireless work ethic. My goal before I leave SPU is to just once beat Dr. Martin to work. Occasionally, I made it here by 7 a.m., only to find the light in his office already shining brightly. But I'm soon moving back to QA from the east side, so I'm going to renew my efforts. Finally, he loves to plan. Currently, he's leading the SPU community through an ambitious strategic planning process that will ultimately chart a successful path for future Seattle Pacific University graduates as they engage the culture and change the world. So now please welcome SPU President Dan Martin to the podium.
Thank you, John. It's great to be here with you tonight. What John doesn't know is that for some reason the lights in Dimmery are on a timer. The lights in my office come on at 6 a.m. whether I'm there or not. They go off much later than closing time. I just figured it was a message from the board of when I should arrive and when I could leave. But it is great to welcome you back this evening. It doesn't feel like it's been a year since we were last together. So I would like to certainly extend my welcome to you and then to recognize what your attendance means tonight. First, that you're investing significantly in Seattle Pacific University, the institution, our faculty, and most importantly, our students, their future, and the positive impact that they'll make in our world. Students like Brandy. Didn't you enjoy hearing her story? Brandy, we're thankful that you're a part of this community, that you still are, and we look forward to the difference that you're going to make in our world. You may have noticed when you came on campus, if you were here during the daylight hours or if you could come back, that we have new banners on the light poles around campus. They have a sketch of Alexander Hall on them and the framing words that say, "From this place." These banners illustrate examples of students that have been shaped by the SPU experience. Then they've gone from this place and engaged the culture and changed our world. These stories are a reflection of our mission, our commitment to graduate people of competence and character, becoming people of wisdom, and modeling grace-filled community. As I thought about the banner's theme, "From this place," it's challenged me to think about this place in new ways. I first think about our location in the year of our founding, 1891, North Queen Anne Hill, as it was called at the time. It was at a meeting of the fledgling Seattle Conference of the Free Methodist Church, a conference with a total membership at that time of 475. At the meeting, a report was read that called for the establishment of a new educational work. It was in the fervor that Nils Peterson stood up, rose to his feet, and excitedly said, "I'll either give $500 or a parcel of land that measures 210 by 344 feet for a building site. Beyond that, more when the Lord has need of it." I think if I were there, I would have suggested the Lord needed us to acquire most of Queen Anne. But after Nils Peterson spoke, Hiram Pease then jumped to his feet and pledged an additional $2,500 to support the new institution. However, our location even then wasn't quite solidified. It was next suggested in this meeting that we sell the Peterson land for $8,000 and combine it with the Pease gift of $2,500 and purchase a 500-acre farm near Dayton, Oregon. Now, 500 acres would have been nice. Dayton Pacific University, not so sure. It was then Hiram Pease that countered the Dayton, Oregon idea, and he made an impassioned plea to locate the new institution in Seattle. Why? Because he felt the hygienic training of young people in Seattle was vitally important and needed. Not sure what that says about the youth in those days. Of course, it was this impassioned plea and this sentiment that resonated with the crowd, and it stirred them to action. The vote that followed easy for you to say, isn't it? Help me out, Jerry. What am I saying? There you go. They selected Seattle and our Queen Anne location and the place our university would begin. So we had a location. Well, 4 months and 9 days past that decision, construction began on what is now Alexander Hall. It opened in the spring of 1893. In fact, the architect who designed Alexander was not only a prominent Seattle architect who also designed Guy Finney's Woodland Park Mansion and the BF School just down the road, but he also had a remarkable career in Los Angeles and even designed the LA Memorial Coliseum. Known as the Red Brick Building until officially named in honor of our first president, Alexander Beers, it was described in the Free Methodist publication by C.W. Tenney just prior to its opening. He wrote, "It is furnished throughout with the Smead system of heating, ventilation, and dry closets, considered the most perfect and healthful of any system now in use." I'm sure that part made Mr. Pease happy with the healthy nature of it. He continued, "The interior is finished in a neat and tasty manner, using mostly native woods finished in hard oil." From this place, we had the location and we had the building. But those two things alone do not a university make. It took a vision and it took people for SPU to become what it is today. The vision that drove our development was not just about the type of institution that we would become, but a vision for the influence and impact that SPU could have in this world. From our founding, we were committed to an education that would change our world with the transforming gospel of Jesus Christ. From this place, a location, a building, and a vision. A place that was brought to life through the tireless efforts and contributions of thousands of people, generations of faculty who have given their life in service, thousands of donors that have contributed to buildings and programs and scholarships, people who have invested in the purpose of graduating students like Brandy, who represent our very best. Students and alumni who go from this place and live a life of significance, a life for others in some way. People who can interpret the cultures of our day and recognize the gaps, the inequities, and the needs in our world, and then have both the ability and the desire to imagine how life could or should be and work toward that end, seeking change, change that brings shalom and human flourishing, wholeness, and harmony. If you ever wonder about the place you are supporting with your financial contributions, think of Brandy and the thousands of students that are making a difference in our world. You've been a vital link in producing the world-changing stories that have emanated from this place, living embodiments of our vision. You can see some of these stories on the banners across our campus. They read, "From this place, SPU has sent 40,000 alumni to engage the culture and change the world. From this place, SPU sent a photographer who documents life around the globe. From this place, SPU sent a doctor who worked to end river blindness in Ecuador. From this place, SPU sent an engineer who creates solar energy solutions in developing countries. From this place, SPU sent a dietitian who helps families nourish their children. From this place, SPU has sent a psychologist who treats veterans with post-traumatic stress disorder. From this place, SPU sent a high school principal who empowers at-risk students to graduate. So tonight, we say thank you for your generosity and for your support. We can't do what we do without you. And beyond your individual giving, your collective presence here tonight is a real encouragement to those of us that are here partnering with you on a daily basis. We're experiencing some of our best days as a university. There's strong demand for an SPU education as evidenced by our over 5,000 applications. A record undergraduate enrollment this fall, 3,395 students, combined with 875 graduate students, a total enrollment of 4,270 students. strong retention and graduation rates, a distinguished faculty, nationally recognized academic programs, students who continue to find avenues of service to the Seattle community and to the world beyond, nationally competitive athletic teams, rising student academic profile, and a gifted student body. It's a diverse place. For this year's entering class, 35% of the students were ethnically diverse. We continue to be very strong financially. And we're constructing a new 5-story residence hall to house 150 students. It'll open next fall. And we've been acquiring new properties, the property at the corner of 6th and Nickerson, as well as the property that's right next to it, the Millwork property. This is in the same block as Otto Miller Hall, the alumni office, and the Office of Human Relations. And we've been ranked number 2 in the category Best Value Schools, as ranked by U.S. News for regional universities in the West. Our ranking places us just behind Trinity in San Antonio and ahead of number 3, Gonzaga. You've invested in the place we have been, and you've invested in the place that we have become. And I invite your continued investment in the place that we will be. Since February, the campus community has been engaged in a strategic planning process around 5 goals. First, academic excellence and relevance. Second, transformative and holistic student experience. Third, vital Christian identity and purpose. Fourth, resource development and attainment. And fifth, operational effectiveness and efficiency. We've identified a strategic vision that will also guide our work in the days ahead. It states, Seattle Pacific University will be known as a premier Christian university, selected by students able to excel at the highest academic levels, shaped by distinguished teachers and scholars, noted by distinctive and diverse living and learning environment, and resourced with significant capacity to realize its mission and pursue its vision. Seattle Pacific University will be known for preparing students for service and leadership by fostering holistic growth through rigorous academic study, character formation, and vocational preparation that establishes a foundation for a thriving, faithful, and meaningful life. And Seattle Pacific University will be known by the lives of alumni who reflect the university's value, are shaped by its mission, and embody its vision and commitment to global and cultural engagement, reconciliation, and human flourishing. At present, by almost any standard that you would see, quantitatively or qualitatively, SPU is recognized as a great university. However, we dare not rest on our laurels. We've been an institution that's been built on faith and vision, and we must continue to set our sights high. We will pursue a vision that will challenge us, one that will stretch us, one that is worthy of our past and reflective of our purpose. Next week, we will take to the Board of Trustees a draft of our strategic plan. At this stage, the plan will identify objectives that will support and advance each of our 5 goals. Once affirmed by the board, the community will then work together to define measurable strategies and action steps that will support each objective. There is one anticipated project in our future that is so intertwined and reflective of our past, a project that represents the very values and beliefs that this institution was built upon, that it leaves no doubt that it must remain part of our future. The red brick building, Alexander Hall. What we thought was going to be a relatively minor seismic upgrade to Alexander Hall this last summer became a major seismic upgrade that necessitated us vacating the building and moving out all the faculty and staff during the summer. The engineers and architects have been working hard on a plan that will ensure the stabilization of the building and extend its presence and its impact on this campus for the next 125 years. We're presenting a plan to the board this next week. And along with the seismic upgrade, we're intending to restore some of the building's inner beauty and reflect the neat and tasty manner that C.W. Tenney wrote about. Once it's approved, if you'd like to support this project or just learn more about it, please let me know. You can speak with me afterwards or send me an email, simply dmartin@spu.edu. We'll be seeking to raise all the funds necessary to complete this renovation. As you can imagine, it's an expensive proposition to essentially reconstruct a building's frame and support structure without altering its design, its facade, and its architectural detail. But given Alexander Hall's significance to this place, we believe the project is of great value, honoring our past while solidifying our institutional identity on which we can build our future. My hope is that many of you in this room and many of our alumni and friends will feel the same. So whether it is this project or a particular area, scholarship, or program at SPU that is of particular interest to you, or whether you simply give to our greatest needs, we're here tonight to say thank you for your support. Thank you for the difference that you're making in the life of this university and for the future of our students. Your continued investment in this place will result in a world that will be changed. Changed to better reflect the way God intended it to be. World change that begins from this place. This evening, we have a special privilege to recognize a family that has been involved in this place and supported this institution throughout the decades. And I believe they will be there in the future. I'd like to ask Jerry and Kathy Teal to come forward to accept the 2013 President's Award for Philanthropy. Jerry and Kathy. Come on over here. You can see the award over here. Come on this side of me. You can read on the back of your program the number of family members that have been involved in the life of the institution. We're so grateful for the extension of this family into the life of this place and the investment they've made in our students. And Jerry and Kathy are representing the family tonight, but I know there are a number of family members from the Teal family that are here. If you could stand and please let us recognize you for your commitment and contributions as well. Please stand. Thank you. Come on up. It's a special privilege to honor you tonight. It's an honor that's well deserved. Where are you going? Slipping out of here right behind my back. She doesn't want to say anything, does she?
She's afraid she'll get stuck with it.
All right. Well, it is a special honor for us to recognize the family tonight. Thank you for your leadership, your giving, your faithful support. It's your gracious generosity that's made a tremendous difference in the life of this campus and the life of our students and their future. And we're very grateful. I know you have a few words to say. Thank you.
I have a few words, but not many. Our family thanks you for honoring us. God has truly blessed our family, and we're honored to give a little back to Him. We have three segments of our family: the Chuck and Barbara Teal and their daughters, Desi and Alicia. They're right over here. Daryl and Claudia Vanderpool and their children, Justin and Stacy Vanderpool, and Paul and Sonia Ringsrud. And there, okay? And Jerry and Kathy Teal with their children, Kim Fear, Molly and Arnie Owen, and Julie and Andrew Kane. Ed Teal, my dad, believed in endowments. He began the Wellsprings Endowment Scholarship Fund with its first donation. He started it. It was, I guess he and Paul Walls, they kind of got together and started that fund. Besides our personal giving, we are also running the Teal Charitable Foundation. This foundation was originally started by Ed and Polly Teal and has been expanded by our generation to where it is today. We are all running this foundation together and all have a say in what the foundation does. Seattle Pacific University receives a portion which provides scholarships for students to get a university education with a Christian emphasis. Our foundation goals are mainly focused on helping people, not much emphasis on bricks and mortar, with the majority of the emphasis to promote Christian values in young people. Chuck's portion, we each have a portion that we give. Chuck's portion of the foundation is providing scholarships for the university students who are serving as youth pastors in small churches. Youth for Christ is administering this program, and it has been very successful. Our family foundation has provided money to dig a well in Africa where there was not a good water supply. We also have provided money to help several Young Life ministries and have provided scholarships for youth to attend Christian camps. Our family, again, wants to thank you for honoring us, and we have appreciated partnering with Seattle Pacific. Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry. Appreciate you and everything you and your family have done. It's been great to partner with you and get to know you. Thank you so much.
In just a moment, and the quintet, if you go ahead and come on up, we're going to hear from another student group, the Brass Quintet, and I will read their names off for you, SPU students. Allison Damon, trumpet. Connor McKay, trumpet. Allison Coons, horn. Logan Pendergrass, trombone. And Jin Lee, tuba. So we're really grateful to have them here tonight, and I think I should get out of the way. So, okay, all right. One more time. I saw Chuck Teal almost getting up down there with his trombone. He was thinking about it, weren't you, Chuck? He is also an accomplished trombone player. Thank you again to the brass quintet and their coach and director, Brian Chin, who is an associate professor in our School of Music, or Department of Music at SVU. So as we near the end of tonight's program, there are a number of thank yous that need to be said. First, let's express our appreciation to the folks at Sodexo for the great meal we had received. Just want to mention a few names there. Chefs Joe Russo and John Patterson, Director of Operations Loida Arabia Kennedy, Tiffany Butak, and all the catering staff. We really appreciate it. It was really great. Second, a special call out to Sarah Schooley and SBU's Advancement Services Department and her assistants for all their outstanding work with decorations and behind-the-scenes coordination to make this evening a success. Please give them a And I believe as you go out, since I don't think we have them on the way in, you're going to be receiving a little gift bag with a variety of things in them. One of the things that are in them are some apples. And as you read in your program, the apples in your gift bags were provided by Borton Fruit, located in Yakima, Washington, and owned by John and Barb Borton, class of '72. And we're very pleased that John and Barb could attend dinner this evening. Give a wave, John and Barb. John wanted me to make sure that I told you that he and I played basketball here at SBU some years ago. I was a guard and he was a forward. I'd pass him the ball and he'd shoot. And he liked that arrangement. And a footnote to that story is that John and Barb's son, Matt, is now playing basketball for the SBU Falcons. And he knows how to shoot too. So it'll be great if you could catch the games this weekend here with the Sodexo tournament coming up, and you'll be able to see Matt play hopefully as well. The last task we need to complete is finding homes for the beautiful table centerpieces that you have on your tables. We're asking that you kind of discuss it among yourselves, find out who came the farthest tonight at your table to be here, and so that person or persons will take the centerpiece with them, okay? I can see this is popular already. That's good. Okay. Finally. Then this is important. Then you can go back to talking. From everyone who worked on this year's President's Circle dinner, thank you for joining us tonight and for your continued support of Seattle Pacific University. We greatly appreciate it. Have a good evening. Thank you for coming.